Hello, thanks for joining us. In my last video, we looked at 3 ways in which you can grow the rankings of your website in Google and Bing. But sometimes organic traffic to a website is not enough, and this is where pay-per-click advertising can come in, because you can have a budget where people will see an advert and click through to your site. I want to talk generally to begin with about marketing. And as a business, it's worth dipping your toe in lots of ponds and looking at different marketing channels before you dive in with a big budget on 1 or 2. Now, the reason for this is that no 2 businesses are the same. You're in a different place to your competitor. Maybe they've been going for a longer time than you have. Maybe they have cornered the market with their unique selling point in a different way to you. So don't assume that because one of your competitors is doing well with a certain kind of advertising that you will. However, in the pay-per-click world, often if you've got a bigger budget, then you can get further than your competitors. I'm going to focus today on Facebook advertising, and in another video we'll look at Google AdWords. So why Facebook? Well, Facebook obviously has a massive worldwide reach, and it tracks everything about us. As we know, it tracks your age, your gender, where you live, your likes, your dislikes, and all that can be useful information to us when we're running marketing campaigns. Facebook adverts are different to Google in that they are image driven, and so it's really important that you think about the image that you're going to use, or images. We basically use 2 types. There are quite a few, but one is just a simple advert using a single landscape photo, and the other one is using a carousel, which is a square set of images, 3 or more. And the carousel can work really well if you've got the time to create a number of different images, because you can test which images are being the most effective and eliminate the rest over time. With your image, you need something that is going to be contrasting to the Facebook branding. And so Facebook colours are blue and white and black typically. So you might want to steer away from those colours and use oranges and greens and reds to contrast with the Facebook platform. Also, with your photos, Facebook's quite fussy about how much text you can put over the image. So you might want to limit it to a small logo and maybe a headline, and that's it, or an offer across the corner or something like that. But don't worry, because you can use the headline text and the body copy text of the advert to draw people in. In terms of the headlines, it's really important that you think carefully about an eye-catching headline that's going to draw customers in. So, for example, you might want to offer them a free discounted offer, something exclusive to your Facebook followers even. Again, you can use pound signs and percentages, £50 off or 50% off for the next 7 days, these kinds of things to draw people in. Offers are proven to be the most effective way of hooking people in through an advert. As well as using the usual tricks of the trade to hook people in, it's really important that where you take them to is well thought through. If you're just going to take them through to the homepage of your website, that may well be very ineffective. What you will find is the most successful Facebook campaigns are using what are called landing pages. Now, this is just a simple website page that is very restricted in its content to the campaign that you are running. So, for example, if you sell pet food, but you are specifically targeting dog owners, then you might have a landing page on your website that focuses on just selling dog food products and nothing else, because if they're a dog owner, they're not interested in rabbit food. So you need to think carefully about, how do I create a landing page that will draw customers in, and think about the calls to action. Maybe you just want their email address and you want to market to them some more with 10 top tips on the healthcare of your pet, or maybe you actually want them to buy a product there and then, and so it's part of your e-commerce shop where you're selling that specific product and you're taking them specifically to that product page. Or maybe you want them to watch a video which explains more about your product or service. Ultimately, the call to action is key. So you need to decide what you want them to do. Is it make a phone call? Is it email you? Is it to buy a product online? But whatever that action is, it's got to be clear and not too much body copy on the landing page to lose their interest. There's a whole raft of information on Google on creating good landing pages. I won't bore you with the details here, but suffice to say, you need bright action colours. So for example, if your website's mainly in blue, you might have an orange button that draws people in for the buy button on a product, or email us now button, or the form itself could be a different colour to the rest of the page if you're asking to fill out a contact form. So draw people in with bright colours and make sure it's well designed. And the other thing is track the actual clicks onto that button, and your web developer will help you with this. And this can help you actually see, okay, I've spent this much money with Facebook, but now I actually want to measure the results of the call to action. If it's a phone call, then you can ask your customers, if you haven't got a sophisticated phone system, just ask them, how did they hear about you? And that will give you some measure of how successful your campaign is being. But always measure the results. Don't waste money on any form of advertising unless you're measuring the results. So I hope you found this helpful. There's a whole heap more I could talk about. If you are interested in us helping you out with a Facebook campaign, our rates are really reasonable, and you can do a 1 month trial, you can do a 3 month package with us, and we can talk in more detail with you about how we would run the campaign. And we don't just create one advert, we will create multiple adverts, test the water and see which adverts are successful and which aren't, and then we'll improve the adverts that are successful and remove the ones that aren't. So over a period of 2 or 3 months, we can get to the point where you've got a really successful campaign. Now also, we've got a bit of an offer for you today. The first 3 people that get in touch with us, we will do a one-to-one with you remotely via desktop on how to build a campaign from scratch or a boosted post. Now let's just talk about boosted posts for a minute. A boosted post is very similar to a Google advert, other than it's a post that you've already created and that's already had some interaction. Now, if you go into Facebook Insights and look through your previous posts on your business page, assuming you have one, check to see which of the posts got the most interaction, and they're the ones that you want to boost. And obviously, Facebook will nag you to boost the posts all the time, but you want to be strategic in picking the posts that have had the most interaction, so the most likes, the most comments. And from there on, it's the same. You need to then set your audience and your budget and so on, and decide how much you're going to spend. And again, maybe just spend a 10 or 15 quid and see how it does. And if it does pretty well, then boost it some more to 50 quid. So yeah, boosted posts are quite effective in that you already have an indication from the previous interactions with that post as to how the advert might be successful, and so you've got a better indication that that campaign could do well than just starting from scratch with an advert. So as I say, the offer is for the first 3 people that get in touch with us, we will provide you with a half-hour one-to-one session via remote desktop on building a campaign or a boosted post from scratch. And for the rest of you, get in touch with us. If you find today helpful, please do subscribe, hit the like button and share this with your friends. And I'll speak to you next time. Cheers.